الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. I'd like to greet my brothers and sisters in words of peace in the Quran and Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All praise is due to Allah. We ask this for His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the evil of our own souls and from our own actions. Whosoever Allah guides, never will he or she go astray. And whosoever goes astray, for him or her, there is no guide besides Allah. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant and messenger. The prayers and peace be upon him and everything of his excellence, his indigenous salutation that follows. I want to welcome you to Masjid An Nasr, your community mosque. I want to thank the board and Brother Chairman Muhammad for allowing me this opportunity to share some of the wisdom of the Quran and of this great religion of Islam. The topic today, taking my topic from the Quran, which says, the human being can have nothing except what he strives for. You can have nothing except what you strive for. That's very crucial because it says in the Quran that you have to be striving for something in order to get something, in order to make things happen in your life positively. So as one of our great imams among us, he said that in definition, there's direction. So I always like to start with defining words that we may not have a clear understanding of. Strive is a verb, it's an action verb, it's a verb. And strive, according to the dictionary or Google, it says to make great efforts to achieve or to obtain something. Not just any effort, to make great efforts to obtain something or achieve something, to meet a goal or to make some progress. You have to make great effort. Operative word being effort. So keep that in mind as we go along with this presentation, this cookbook. And we're going to go straight to the Quran and see what Allah says in the Quran. As Brother Imam Shakur always like to say, when we read the Quran, Allah is talking. So let's see what Allah has to say. Let's go to Surah 53 and Ayat 39 to 42. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. That man can have nothing but what he strives for. That the fruit of his striving will soon come in sight. Then he will be rewarded with the reward complete. That is that Lord is the final goal. This Quran is so beautiful. Who would serve a God like this? That we have the greatest guidance in the world. It says in the Quran in Ayat 2, just to make some commentary, Ayat 40, it says that the fruit of your striving will soon come to sight, will soon come into fruition. If you're striving, if you put something in, guess what? You're going to get something out. And if you don't put nothing in, you're not going to get nothing out. We have to make a great effort to live this deen, live this life called Al-Islam. We have to make a great effort to achieve greatness in practicing this deen. You're not going to practice this deen by being haphazard or nilly-bitty. You're not going to do it. You got to really be intentional about trying to be a good Muslim. You got to be watching your behaviors, because then what you say is what you do. You got to watch your conduct, because the Quran says that Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in the message of Allah, there's a great pattern of conduct for you to follow. A great pattern of conduct. He is the model human being for the world. Everybody can't say they got a model human being to follow. And as one of my Muslim brothers said everything starts from a successful model. So we want to know how to be successful in all areas of our life. We have a human being that God sent here as a model in our family life, in our social life, our religious life, our mental life, our spiritual life. Every part of our life, and we study the Sunnah, we study the life of Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can be instructed in what we have to strive for. We can be given instructions that we should be striving to do this. We have to make great effort to be better Muslims. We also, brothers and sisters, have to make great efforts to do this work of Al-Islam. This is a long, protracted struggle of Al-Islam. That we didn't, out of all the people that could have been embracing this deen, Allah let it come to us, not for us to just now hoard the knowledge and not share it with the community. That's not what Islam is all about. We have to be very careful that as an ummah, that we just become an ummah, that all we want to do now is out-Islam each other. You go around Muslims now. Ain't no focus, no programmatic thrust to make the world better by sharing what made our life better, to share it with nobody. That ain't going on nowhere around this country. At least where I've been, I ain't seen it. I was in Miami last week, and I was talking and asking the locals there, I said, how many people you brought? We had a great program there, and all that was Muslim. I think one of the moderators, who was a radio personality, was the only non-Muslim there. We got to get out of that. We got to start striving to achieve better outcomes in building our community. Our work can only be equal to the value of what we put into it. Did you get that? Our work can only be equal to the value of what we put in it. Garbage in, garbage out. Excellence in, excellence out. We have to strive toward human excellence. We have to strive. Competing to be the best self that we can be. Not competing against nobody else. Not trying to keep up with the Joneses or keep up with the Muhammads or keep up with the Elamines or keep up with the Abdullahs. But striving to be the best you can be. Striving to be the best Jarvis Elamine I can be. That's what I'm competing against. That's what the Quran said. The Quran says, it said that the fruit of your striving will soon come to sight. Then he will be rewarded with a reward complete. If you want a complete reward, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give you a complete reward. If you want to be strong, you're looking for recognition from a human being, that ain't gonna work out too good for you. Because Allah's the one doing the reward. And his reward is complete. What do you mean by complete? Your reward from Allah is complete, that you're going to get the good in this life and the good in the hereafter. If you think that this is all to it, then you really off track. This can't be all to it. All injustice you see done in this world, and the people doing injustice is going to be left, not brought to account for it. This can't be all to it. Ain't no way it can be all to it. Man. It said, to that Lord is the final goal. We got to become, our goal is becoming one with Allah. Our goal is to pick up those characteristics that we learn by studying the life and sunnah and practice of Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those principles, characteristics going to get us closer to Allah. That's the final goal, according to the Quran. Allah reward our efforts, and to Allah is the final goal. The human being only get that which he strives for. You can have nothing except what you strive for. So if you ain't striving for nothing, guess what? You ain't gonna get nothing. And you got to be ambitious about and creative about what you want to achieve in your life. You got to have some goals in your life. Yeah, no goals, then you bound to hit nothing right in the center. So you need to have some goals in your life. When we are striving as believers and as Muslims in this life, we got to strive to be the best Muslim and best believer we can be. Striving toward excellence. You know? So we have to always be conscious that we're striving toward excellence. Now, that don't mean that we're not going to face some difficulties in our life. Man, there will be some storms in your life. Huh? You will be tried and tested. The Quran says in Surah 29, said, do you think you'll be left alone and not be tried and tested as those who tried and tested before you? This is a rhetorical. Do you think you'll be left alone on just saying you believe? And not be tried and tested as those who tried and tested before you? Huh? Look in the history of the prophets, all the way back to Adam, Abraham. Huh? We're going to talk about Abraham a little later. Moses. Huh? Jesus, the son of Maryam. Tested. Think about the Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tested. Got ran out of Mecca into Medina by the disbelievers and hypocrites and those that didn't believe. But we must face the difficulties. And not only must we face the difficulties, brothers and sisters, we got to face the difficulties, meet the difficulties, and overcome the difficulties. We can overcome all difficulties in our path, all obstacles in our path. We have the ability to overcome. If you don't believe it, it's in nature. Because when the sperm emitted from your father and going up the vaginal tract of your mother, it's only billions of sperm cells, but only one made it. And that one that made it was the best swimmer, the best jumper, the best runner. Huh? And you know what's so interesting about that, sisters? All the sperm cells that didn't make it, they became fertilizer for the one that did make it. Became food for the one that didn't make it. And the evidence that you can overcome all obstacles in your path is you here. If that wasn't true, you wouldn't be here. So Allah left a footprint in nature that there's no difficulties that you can't meet and overcome. There's no obstacles that you can't meet and overcome. Let's go to the Quran. My brother said, Allah is talking. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Have we not expanded for thee? This is Surah 94. Have we not expanded for thee thy breast? What's in the breast? The heart. Muhammad the Prophet said there's a morsel of flesh in the body. If that morsel of flesh become bad, the whole body is bad. And he pointed to his heart. He said, it's the heart. So Allah said, have we not expanded for thee thy heart? Have we not expanded their sensitivities? Eh? The heart. That's what they say, get to the heart of the matter. Right? The Quran says, have we not expanded? Open up your heart. You gotta have a heart for this word called dawah. You gotta have a heart for this work of sharing Islam with it. You gotta have a heart for this. Your heart gotta be right. Have we not expanded that breast? Have we not opened your heart up? Have we not made you sensitive to people that's having struggles and challenges in their life? Have we not made you sensitive to each other as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, as a ummah? Have we not expanded for thee thy breast? Have we not removed from thee thy burden? Allah said, I removed the burden. So if you're looking for somebody else to remove the burden, or you're thinking something else is going to happen to your life, other than going back to the original source, which is Allah, to what? To remove your burden. And we all have challenges in our life. Family challenges. Family concerns, right? Money challenges. We get on that. You know, church folks said we're going to lay our burden to the Lord. Leave. But the Quran says a little different out here. It said, I'm going to remove it. He ain't worried about it. I'm going to remove it. Whether you bring them to me or not, I'm going to remove it. It said, had we not removed thy burden, who would serve a God like this? This is the merciful. I had a Muslim brother I used to hang out with in Atlanta. He said, Allah is so kind. He said, Allah is so kind. He said, oh, that was his favorite word. He said that, and he said it in all kinds of situations. It always stuck with him. Allah is so kind. It says in the Quran that he had removed that burden, with the gall which hold you back. It's some of these burdens that are self-inflicted burdens, brothers, as I must say. It's some of these burdens we bring upon ourselves by decisions we make in our life. Am I right or wrong? Hey, some of these decisions we make in our life, Allahu Akbar. Say Allahu Akbar. You can say that. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, say Allahu Akbar. Take it. We bring these burdens in our own life. By what? Decisions that we make. We got choices that we can make in our life. Allah give us free will. It says, have we not removed the burden which hold thee back, and raised high in esteem which thou have? That's a lot of stew in that. It says that Allah would raise your esteem. What is your esteem? He would raise your, another part of the Quran said, all of the sons and daughters of Adam was honorable. So I can say honorable Luqman. I can say honorable Abdul Malik. All the children of Adam are honorable, that you're going to be held in high esteem and great honor and great admiration by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, you got to think that about yourself. We say in the country, the poor frog don't play his own pond. If you don't think good about yourself, who going to think good about you? But Allah telling you, it's that having raised high. What's your esteem? Okay, let's look at the word esteem. Allah said he held you in great respect and admiration. That respect started with what? Self-respect. You don't get no respect nowhere. You won't even get no respect in your own house with your spouse if you don't have self-respect. But Allah said, I held you in great esteem, right? Great admiration, right? Great respect, right? He said, you the Khalifa. You the crown of Queen. I held you in great esteem. It's in the book. And raised you high esteem in which thou art held. Allah will raise our esteem in the community. First of all, in our household, our home, and in the community. And it's going to be based upon our conduct, our character, and our works. Some people want respect. and you haven't done anything to get no respect. You know, you heard the old saying in the country from your parents that you got what? Respect is what? Earned. Not what? Not given. You got to earn respect. So your body of work, and that body of work starts with you becoming a better human being, you becoming a better Muslim, you becoming a better mu'min, a better believer, you improving yourself. Then that's the basis of us going out and improving the community. Allah already laid it out in the Quran, saying that you have held us in high esteem, great respect, and admiration. Now, this Quran is so beautiful because it knows the thinking of the human being before it thinks. He already knows how the human being have a tendency to procrastinate, make excuses. You know what I mean? We have a tendency to do that. Say Allah. Yeah, we have a tendency to do that. So Allah said, let me address that because I know the human being. Let me address that with the Quran too. So let's go to Surah 9, ayah 41 and 42. Allah, this Quran is so beautiful. I don't know how somebody get up and say they're going to talk to you, don't go in the Quran. How you don't go in the Quran and you want to give a speech, a khutbah? If you want to inspire people with Allah's word, this is where it's at, right here in the Quran. It's right here in the Quran. Surah 9, and that is ayat 41 to 42. It says in the Quran, it says, go ye forth. Aisha, what meaning that? You got to do something. Go ye forth, whether equipped heavily or lightly. See, a lot of know you think, you say, well, you make an excuse, I ain't got this. I ain't got a college education. I ain't got this. I ain't got a car. I ain't got that. I ain't got this. It said, go forth. Whether you equip heavily or lightly, whether you got a whole lot or got a little. Well, Lord, commanding you to go forth, whether equipped heavily or lightly. And then here we go again. And strive. The human being only get that which he strives for. You got to go forward, but you got to strive. And what is striving again? Striving is what? Striving says that we have to find it right quick, if I can. But it's our efforts to achieve something. We got to go forward. Our efforts to make something happen in our life. We have to strive toward righteousness, strive toward goodness. So strive and struggle. See, when you start striving, you're going to also do what? Struggle. When you start striving, you're going to also have what? Difficulties in your life. When you start striving, you have to face somewhat obstacles. When you start striving, you have some mountains of situations, big mountains of situations in your life that you're going to have to overcome. Strive and struggle with your goods and your person. What's your goods is? Your material goods, whatever money you got, or whatever goods you have, but whoever's with you, your person. And ain't nobody with you, got to strive yourself. Because first off, you are committed to striving yourself first. The only person that you commit to strive first is yourself. And sometimes, brothers and sisters, I know I may get in trouble for this one, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sometimes we have people in our life, that's our spouse, that we did, we waiting on them to make whether we should strive to make our life better. Allah let you know, strive with your goods and your persons. You can't wait on nobody else. You got to tell your mates that, look, you're either on the way or in the way. We got to make this thing happen. We got to be on the same page on this. Because people can bring you down. People can be stopping your progress. And those challenges can be right there around you. Not just our spouse. Like me and the brother, one of the brothers talk about, sometimes it can be our children. Sometimes it can be our grandchildren. Sometimes it can be our extended family. You got to learn how to shake it off. You got to shake them off, brother. You got to learn how to shake it off. They have a little song saying you got to shake them off. You got to shake them off. If they keeping you from striving, whether you quit heavily or lightly with your goods and your person, what are you striving for? Allah. Striving in Allah's cause. What is Allah's cause? Sharing this great deen of Islam, being an example of what this deen is, doing good in the community, being impactful in the community, not just being impressive. Imam Muhammad said, you got to remake the world. He came out in 75 and said, remake the world. You know, we forgot that. We like Adam. Adam took that second sleep, brother, and went into a deep sleep. We went into a deep sleep since 75, 76, talking about remake the world. When you go to the masjids all around this country, you don't see no new people there. As a matter of fact, when you go to these masjids around the country now, you see people walking on sticks, brother, or pushing a walker. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm saying that we have to go after the younger generation. It's legacy time for us. Everybody in this room got more years behind them than they got in front of them. What's going to happen to the legacy of Al-Islam in Sulphur Springs when we transition? All right, I'm getting out of here. I'm legacy time for me. You don't know I've been here. I ain't looking for the name no street after me or do nothing else after me. I'm looking to make my mark and be impactful while I'm here. That's our responsibility. Not to just be impressive, but to be impactful while we're here. And goes on to say they were striving on Allah's cause, peace be Allah, said that is best for you. God wanted you to answer. That's best for you. If you wouldn't do. You know how God kind of tells you, said, now you can do what you want to do. I'm paraphrasing that. But that's best for you. If you wouldn't do. If you take heed, that's best for you. That you strive, go forth with it, quit heavily and lightly, strive with your struggle with your goods and your person, feast of Allah, for the cause of Allah. That is best for you. If you wouldn't. And Ayah 42 said, now this talk about this struggle of dawah. This talk about now this struggle of establishing the ummah. This talk about establishing a model community. Huh? That's what this next ayah going to talk about. Let you know it's a struggle, huh? That's a long, protracted struggle. They say if there had been immediate gain in sight, if you could see the reward, immediate gain in sight, this Quran is so beautiful, so pretty. And the journey was easy. Said you see the immediate gain, and the journey was easy. Huh? They all would have went without doubt. They all would have followed you. See, this work is not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart. This ain't no easy work. Talking about you being a community tomorrow, people come here, want food and looking for resources. And food shortage going on now with Feeding America. 3 weeks we ain't be able to get no food. You're already in the food desert. And it ain't easy. This is a protracted struggle when you got to tell the people, we ain't got nothing. Huh? That's difficult. See, the immediate gain not in sight. But the journey is not easy. That all, if the journey was easy, immediate gain was sight, they all would without doubt have followed thee. But the distance is long, the journey is long. And long. Hard. Struggle. And it is weighted down. People come with some problems and challenges in their life, they weigh you down. Huh? Some people ain't got no money for gas. One of the parents didn't have no gas money to bring the children. We got to pay their gas money to get the children here. All right? Weight it down in this dawah effort, this outreach effort. Says weight it down. The distance was long and weighted on them. And they would indeed swear by Allah. If only we should if we would only could, we should certainly have come out with you. So everybody got a chance to do something here. You know, you got some people say, well, they're here, they make excuses to do this. Come contribute. Time, talent, and treasure. We had a brother came today. One of my immigrant brothers said, brother, I just want to clean up the masjid. He came in, you see how he been working? I try to stop and tell everybody it's good. He said, "No, I'm all right. I got to finish." He mopped the place. Everybody got a time. You can give time. You can give your talent and treasure. Don't have no treasure, which is money. You can give your time and talent because it says in the Quran. If we could only, we should certainly have come out with you. There's somebody who's making an excuse. So y'all doing good work over there, pat you on the back. Yeah, y'all doing good. Y'all messing up. Y'all doing good. But won't come and contribute $2. Won't come and spend 1 hour. Come out and talk to the young people, right? Come out and do something toward uplifting our community. It says, if only we could, we certainly would have come out with you. They would destroy their own souls. For Allah do know that they are certainly lying to themselves. Sadaqallahu Azim, certainly Allah speaks the truth. Allah commands us to strive and struggle. The human being only get that which he strives for. We're commanded to strive and struggle. Okay? This is a long, protracted struggle. Greatness. You can't rush greatness. You know what the people say in the community? Rome wasn't built overnight. That's the allegorical. But the point I'm making is you can't rush greatness. You think that our people, African Americans, got in this condition overnight? It's 438 years of slavery, suffering, and death. We're going to have to commit ourselves to raising our people out of this condition with the life-giving teachings of the Quran. It's in the book. So I'm going to say, all praise is due to Allah. We ask Allah's forgiveness. We seek His refuge with Allah from the evil of our own souls and from the evil of our own actions. Whosoever Allah guides, never will he or she go astray. And whosoever goes astray will not be guided. Amen. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Seek refuge with Allah from Satan to reject it, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor and the merciful redeemer. I openly bear witness and testify that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness to Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, messenger prophet to whom the Holy Quran Kareem was revealed to. I'd like to greet my brothers and sisters on this JUMUAH day in words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum. Great Islamic teacher and leader among us taught us that the second part of the khutbah should be to address community concerns. So we're going to do just that. Let's go to Surah 2 and Ayah 260. Now, what I want you to do now, I want you to pay close attention to this part. This is the part I want you to put yourself in everything I'm talking about. I want you to be thinking about how can I contribute? How can I live this part of what the Quran is saying? Y'all got it? Say Allahu Akbar. All right. So you're serious. You know, they say in let's go to Ayah 2, Surah 260. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It says, Abraham said, "My Lord, show me how that gives life to the dead." My Lord, Abraham, show me how you give life to the dead, spiritually dead. Abraham want to know. He said, believe. That's what Allah said to Abraham. Said, don't you believe? Abraham said, he said, yeah, but to satisfy my own understanding. I believe, but just out of curiosity, to satisfy my own understanding. And Allah said to Abraham, he said, take 4 birds. Get your mind out of them robins and woodpeckers. I ain't talking about no physical birds. Spirits. All right? It's allegorical. Allah told Abraham to take 4 birds. We're going to identify what those 4 birds are. Take 4 birds. Then he said, tame them to turn to thee. Okay, tame them, but what also mean do what? Train them. They what? Come back to you. Come back to thee. That's what it says. Now, the book is beautiful. You're gonna miss it. You gotta have your thinking cap on it. You gotta keep it on. Put a portion of them on every hill, every mountain. Mountain is symbolic of circumstances, mountain of challenges. Mountains. Put them on 4 mountains. Put them on 4 hills, on every hill. Take 4 birds, put on each one on every hill. Then it says what? Call them. That means you got to do dawah. Call the dawah. You got to make the call, which is the Islamic call. You got to call them back to what? Righteousness. You got to call them back to what? Civilization. It's the duty of a civilized man to do what? Teach the uncivilized. What you going to teach them? Civilization. You got to call them. It's in the book. Call them. That means you got to do something. That means you got to come out of these 4 walls. And tame them to turn to thee. Put a portion of them on every hill. Then call them. Allah said, don't worry, they'll come to thee. Flying with speed. Look at it now. Then it says, then know that Allah is exalted in power, wise. All right, let's get into these 4 birds. We as a Muslim community, particularly Masjid An Nasr, should be striving to raise the spiritually dead community of Sulphur Springs. Everything in a mile radius, that's your territory. A mile that way, 2 miles that way, a mile that way, that's your territory. Should be striving, should be making effort to raise the mentally and spiritually dead community that's living off less than $15,000 a year in an impoverished community. And what you're going to raise them up? What areas? What are the 4 areas of concern? What are the 4 birds? What are the 4 focus that we should be focusing on as a community? What is the 4 birds of trying to talk? I ain't talking no robin, no woodpecker, no this kind of bird, that kind of bird. If you think you're talking about that, then you miss it. 1 bird, economic and business development. And we got to be involved in economic and business development. We got to be out here making it happen, doing by ourselves. Up your imagination, you can accomplish what you want. We got to be doing that. Can't be pointing out what the dead world ain't doing, the Negroes ain't doing. Well, what you doing? Talk a good game, but what you doing? What the example is? Where's the example of us being involved in economic and business development? 1 bird. Call it. But if you call it, you put it out on the mountains of great mountains and challenges as you set it on that mountain. And call it, what is it called? Be about business development. Be about economic development. 1 bird. Next one is culture awareness and knowledge of self. In some kind of way we think, following the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we have to now give up our own culture. I don't know where we got that from. It's not al-Islam. We give you something in the sunnah of the Prophet that is spill that. So you know when the Prophet went to, as I was thinking, when the Prophet went to Abyssinia, you understand what I'm saying, right? I'm going to paraphrase, so don't come up saying nothing to me after. People love to come up with you after the cookbook. That's why everybody says if I say something good, y'all from Allah says something wrong, that's on me. Okay, so if I say that, it's called, in the legal words, it's called a disclaimer. Disclaimer, don't come to me after. So here's what happened. They went to look, the enemies of Islam ran them out of Mecca and Medina. And they ended up going to Abyssinia, which is Ethiopia today. Right? Ethiopia. Abyssinia. It's called Abyssinia, Ethiopia. I got an African sister. She can correct me if I'm wrong. She said, yeah, she should go ahead. That's what it is. All right, here we go. When they went there, because there never been a time that African people didn't believe in monotheism. That's why it was easy for African people to accept Al-Islam. Easy for Balaam to accept Islam. They always believe in monotheism. If you don't want to know what monotheism is, it's one God. Okay? So, when they came, Christian king put that line there and said, told Jaffa to tell him about it. Then one of the enemies that was one of the king cut buddies was saying, oh, no, tell them what they really believe. Tell them what they think about Jesus. Think about Jesus. Then Muhammad the Prophet pointed to Jaffa. And Jaffa went to what? Surah 19, the Quran. And talked about how I understand and how the Muslims believe Jesus. After he read Surah 19, Jaffa was rolling. Jaffa read it, Jaffa was putting down, you know what I mean? When Jaffa put down by Surah 19, the king said, well, that's what they believe. These my boys, don't worry about it. No, they can stay here as long as they want to. They protected it. So when they was also, after that, when they wanted to welcome the prophet there. I forgot to say that first. The point I'm making is. And they had all the Africans come out and do an African dance for the prophet. And some of the companions with the prophet, I can see them now, stuff your law. They're trying to say, no. African dancing now, ain't for the faint of heart. African dance is for real. And so they were doing African dance, and some of the companions were trying to start off. He said, no, that's their culture. If their culture is not haram, they keep their culture. So on that way you get this wrong, now you want to be something, you want to paint your beard red, and you want to be something that you ain't. Well, we supposed to embrace our culture. Y'all got the point? As long as what's in your culture is not haram, which means it's not harmful. I want to use Arabic word, people don't know what it means. As long as it's not harmful. So that next bird, what's the second bird? Cultural awareness and knowledge of self. Greatest knowledge is knowledge of self. You got to know your history and your culture, where you came from. You got to know your historical greatness to know that greatness is in your DNA. Man, did you know that? We built the pyramid, which is a perfect geometric structure that cannot be duplicated. And other people call it a wonder because they wonder how it was done. Master Musa was the richest man in the 1500s, the richest man in the world. Took thousands of people on the journey from Timbuktu to Mecca. Cultural awareness. How your children don't know about Master Musa? We doing the summer camp. These people don't even know about Martin Luther King. So the next bird, you got to call it. What do you mean? That you got to get out here and propagate cultural awareness. You got to be out here propagate, right? Knowledge of self. Third bird, education development. That's the third bird. 4 birds. God told Abraham, take 4 birds, put them on 4 mountains, and called it. Calling them means you got to promote education. Higher education, yeah. Book education, yeah. But self-education. Don't play that down. That you can educate yourself. You got YouTube, you got this, you got technology. Anything you want to really learn, you can do it. You don't know how to do something, how to fix a wall, go to YouTube. Do this, do that. Technology, you can do everything. So you got to educate yourself. Educate is taken from the word educare. To draw out, to enlighten yourself. Enlightenment. How you work around in the civilized world and you in darkness with no education. And us baby boomers tell some of us, well, I'll call my grandson. No, you got to embrace this technology. Call it your grandson. You better embrace it. How you don't even know how to go milk Facebook? How you don't even know how to do email? You got to be ashamed of yourself. living in a society like this. And that technology ain't going nowhere. During the pandemic, we all was catching it. Because when nothing going on, we got to go Zoom. I remember the first time I did Zoom, every time I got on the Zoom call, the lady who was doing the Zoom was smarter than me. She said, well, it must be Elamine, or she was getting feedback. And I was embarrassed, because next time I told my wife, you better help me with this. I ain't get back on that call and be embarrassed with myself. I went there with the YouTube. They told you how to do Zoom. I'm a Zoom man now. I can do Zoom and all of that. All right, so we almost there. I got about 2 minutes. I'm gonna hit it and quit like James Brown. Here we go. Education development. The last one is being involved in government and politics and governance. See, we cannot live in a society because when Muhammad the Prophet of Islam came to Medina, he established a government, governance, self-governance. A lot of us thought that being involved in politics was haram. We don't get ourselves involved in politics, but then all these things start coming down out of Tallahassee that was affecting us. Right? We ain't involved in politics, we're going to be affected. Let me just tell you something. You got a social security card, you're involved in politics. If you're a student and the man starts talking about taking $20,000 off the student loan thing, you were sure enough involved in politics then. And because you weren't involved in politics, the opposite party said, we ain't going to get them the girls for $20,000. You forget that and backed up on it, right? Because you're saying that you don't get involved in politics. How you live in a country, no, be involved in the governance. Everyone said call it. Be involved in it. Call it. And they'll come to you at full speed, and you'll learn how to benefit from politics. Learn how to benefit from education. You'll learn how to benefit from cultural awareness. You'll learn how to benefit from economic development. So let us be inclined toward each other. Let's be involved in the community. It says in the Quran, said they would incline towards you. Read this last part. It says that they would be inclined, that when you call them for birds, they come at you in speed and they would incline towards you. What does incline towards you mean? It says that you got to be involved in influencing society. We ain't going to make everybody know, sir, but we have to have influence. Look at the LGBT, whatever called community. Right? They influencing everybody. You can't say nothing about them, you can mess around and then your picture get tuckered. You understand what I'm saying? But they influence them. Now, that problem I got with them, they trying to make everybody like them. I ain't going to be that. But what we're trying to say is we can influence the system. We may not can change the system, but we can influence the system. But influence with what? The Quran. Influence with the Quran and the Sunnah. We have to strive toward excellence in these 4 areas, 4 birds. The birds represent the spirit. And the spirit has to be the right, we have to have the right spirit to do this work. You know that? You can't do this work of resurrecting the dead if you ain't got the right spirit. You got to have the right spirit to do this work. The mentally dead I'm talking about. You got to have the right spirit. So we have to have the right spirit to strive and make great effort to achieve something. And I'm going to close with this from the Quran. And it says that, I'm just going to read it, paraphrase, because I already read it. It says, Allah will reward our efforts until Allah is the final goal. Allah is the final goal. He's going to reward us. If we do things to be Allah, for Allah's pleasure, the reward is here. Like it says about Ramadan. It says, fasting is for Allah, and what Allah says, I reward for fasting. So if you're doing da'wah and striving to raise a community, ummah in this community, raise the mentally and spiritually dead, who's going to reward you? I mean, you got to stroke me on. I don't need no stroking. But Allah going to reward us. Because the people that we raise and civilize will maybe the person that don't hit us in the head and rob us and knock it, kill one of our children. Look at the violence in the community. And we say we got the answers, and we do. But we got to put the answers like that. So I just want to close out by saying I love you, that we have to start doing some work. We're making a lot of progress in this little masjid. And sometimes a little small, you know, but it's a small army that damaged the large army. Allah says, I was there. You know, he said, I was there. You were in battle, but I was there. You know, when you slayed them, you thought you slayed them, say, I slayed them. So we have to understand that Allah is going to make it easy for us. We have to be committed, and we have to make things happen. So if I said anything that was good, that's all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Highly glorified is He. If I said something that was wrong or wasn't correct in your eyes, or if it wasn't correct for real, that didn't come from me. That came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, it didn't come from me. You know, I'm wrong. If I said something wrong, that was on me. Because I'm a human being, and I'm striving toward excellence. Just remember this. You can only have what you strive for. If you don't strive for nothing, you're not going to get it. Then we should be striving with our goods and our persons and go forth whether heavily or lightly. Assalamu alaikum. He come.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله.
السلام عليكم
وعليكم
السلام
الله أكبر.
Allahu Akbar.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
آمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده.
ربنا ولك الحمد.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
آمين.
قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده.
ربنا ولك الحمد.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
We have a few announcements. Won't keep you long. Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to open up with the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I'd like to welcome you to Masjid An Nasr, the Masjid of the Helpers. I'd like to welcome the believers and those that are in the listening audience to Masjid An Nasr. My name is Richard Muhammad. I'm happy, so happy to have you here today for this blessed JUMUAH. I'd like to thank my co-chair for a wonderful khutbah in talking about we getting what we strive for. We want to strive for Allah's help, first of all, and then we ask for His mercy and His blessings. We thank Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, for delivering a powerful book called Quran, double. But like my co-chair said, we have our own identity, our own culture. We must be mindful of that. We was given a culture by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He gave us our own dress, our own food. He gave us bean soup and bean pies. But he said I only went to the 3rd grade. He wasn't talking literally, that was allegorical. You think he only went to the 3rd grade. But he was trying to put something forth, not to get us to leave class early. Sometimes we abort the mission. We can still have JUMUAH and follow our culture. We don't have to lay down our culture to have JUMUAH. We have a way of devotion, and we must strive for that way of devotion. Don't abort the mission like a mother aborts her baby before time. There's a price for that. No one gets away in this world. No one's going to get away, not even me. So let's strive for the help of Allah, ask Allah for help, and the ones that He sent before us. And let's become a mighty nation. A mighty nation. That's what Allah hopes for. He said He made us into tribes. Not that we might despise one another, but get to know one another. Get to know means you go over there and get to know them. You don't stay over there. Some of us stayed over there. But we got to come back home. That's my point. We got to come back home. We got to reconnect the family. And we got to become family again. Because we headed towards some troubled times. A time that we haven't seen before. I went into a racetrack and it was a robot mopping the floor. And he stopped and let you walk by. And you move out the way, he continue mopping. That's what my co-chair was saying, technology. Putting people out of work. Amazon looking to lay off thousands of people. What you think racetrack gonna do? They don't have to pay no benefit, they don't have to worry about you calling in sick. That robot's still gonna be riding around. So let's not get locked in our homes and be out of touch. Let's stay up with time. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, write down the modern times. So we're in modern times today. So we need to catch up and get up. So with that being said, we're going to continue with our program. I thank you for coming. I thank you for listening. And keep continuing to come. Those in the listening audience, keep continuing to listen. And I'd like to leave as I came, but before I leave, I want to bring up my co-chair that gave a wonderful cook the other day, Brother Jarvis Salamini. Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is His messenger. Just want to say, brothers and sisters, we have embarked on a great effort here at the community mosque, Masjid An Nasr. Allah bless us to do a summer camp. We're almost to the end. We're going to have the 25th, we'll be doing a field trip for the youth, taking them to the College of Woodson African American Museum. Because when we did the assessment, we found out we got about 22 students. None of them knew nothing of their culture. They didn't even know about Martin Luther King. I don't know how you live in America and know about Martin Luther King. But then when we did the assessment, that didn't come up. So we wanted to see now, after these 9 weeks, we wanted to get them something to close out by taking them to the African American Museum. So anybody interested in going, we may have a couple of extra tickets. We want to thank Safe and Sound of Hillsborough County, Freddie Barton, one of our community partners. They taking care of all the expenses. We're gonna have to contribute this to lunch, because they have to eat before they leave, because there's nowhere to eat at the museum. So we asked all the parents to get the children here about 10:45, so that we can feed the children, and then at 11 o'clock we're gonna load up the Masjid bus, motor coach bus, and we're going to St. Petersburg. The museum open at 12 o'clock. So then that's on that Tuesday. Thursday we're gonna have our graduation. Mr. Freddie Barton gonna be the graduation speaker. We're gonna give some certificates. He's gonna bring some incentives, some gift cards, other incentives. We have some computers that we're gonna give to our staff students. And we're gonna also have some school supplies that we're gonna give. So that's for the summer youth program. We're gonna translate that into our after school program. So that's what we're working on. We also want to recognize that we partner with ARP to fund some staff. And we have an office manager. I'd like her just stand up so everybody can know. This is Sister Tangi's our office manager. So she's the office manager. We training her. I got some people coming in next week, some millennials, and I'll teach her about PowerPoint, spreadsheets and all of that. Me and her, we learning together. She's been calling people, and she's been getting a great response from people that's going to be bringing food for the pantry. Feed America is out of food almost. So 5 years ago we started, we go there and get food, everything free. Brother Chairman went last week and said, well, you take that free, but all this, you go in that room, you got to pay, you go in that room, you got to pay. You go in that room, you got to pay. So we're working on the RFP for the Department of Agriculture for $30,000 to restock the pantry. It looks promising. The RFP don't come out until August. And so if we get there, the funding, we're going to pipe the pantry. And so we have a lot of food, because families, 50 families depending on us. And this ain't no joke. Muslims and non-Muslims. So, we want to be able to do some things. So that's the last thing we're doing. We got more things to come. There's going to be more opportunities for employment. We've been working hard for the last 3 months, and the Lord has been magnifying our efforts. I'm telling you, if you just go do something, just get in motion, God will bless us. I'll close with this. We did an IT boot camp last Saturday. We had over 50 people here. The Muslim Chamber of Commerce, we partnered with them. They're going to pay for the training, IT, for 2 months, 4 months, and 6 month training. And the only requirement was for the people to email them and let them know what area of IT they're interested in, data engineering, cybersecurity. These jobs start at $150,000 a year. And so we're going to be meeting with the Muslim Chamber of Commerce Monday to see how many people respond. They're going to pay for the training. And those who are really interested and don't have a computer, we have a sponsor that may buy a couple of computers for you. We're going to make this easy for you. If you want to change your life and your bank account and your address, if you want to do it, we're going to help you. It ain't just for you. You're too old to learn it. If you want, all these jobs, you work from home. And those who didn't come to IT boot camp, it's all on the radio, all in the something, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Should have came. Your curiosity should have got you. Let me see what they're talking about, the Muslims. You should have just came to see. And if you came, you'd have heard something. That was a powerful event. How many was there? Very good. It was a powerful event. So those who, it's not too late to get involved. I'll give you the direct number to the Muslim Chamber of Commerce and his email address. All you have to do is say what area, do some research about what area you want to be interested in. They have to pay for your training. None of the training is beyond 6 months. And don't care nothing about your background. You could have been in penitentiary 13 years. Don't care about that either. And you don't have to have no high school diploma and no college education. They're going to train you. Can't ask for more than that. So that's what our community mosque is supposed to do. We call in the 4 birds. Thank you. We have bean soup for sale, and we have some natural juices, $6, the bean soup $6, 2 for $10. And we want to thank you. I want to also recognize a sister from Gambia. She's from where Ellis Haley came from. our African sister. She's gonna speak to our youth next week.
All right.
She's gonna come talk to them about real
Oh,
African culture. You know, if you don't know Kunta Kinte, that's like not knowing Martin Luther King. If you ain't watch Roots, you black in America, shame on you. But she came from the same village and country you come from. Thank you for being here, sister. We love you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Yes, sir.